Hello everybody, I'm Sammy from TalkToAnyone.com, and today I'd like to talk about a very sad subject matter, the male loneliness epidemic. Especially in the West, men have become more and more isolated. Their prospects when it came to dating are decreasing day by day. It's getting harder to find relationships, to find friends. I want to talk about what has brought this situation about and what you as a man can do about it to improve your situation. So I'm going to be very frank here, okay? So one of the main factors that has caused this is social development has been impacted by the internet. Today, it's so easy to be terminally online, not connecting with people at all, and the pandemic has made the situation worse by just isolating people from each other, and a lot of young men especially missing out on crucial social development, social just learning experiences that they would have otherwise had. Also, of course, the internet with all the corn dog, corn, I don't like corn. Corn is bad. Corn is bad for you, not just the corn that you eat, but also the corn that is online, which has, again, disincentivized men from actually talking to women in real life. And then, of course, I think one of the worst offenders as well are the dating apps. And that is because the dating apps create a pool of people that is basically global. People that you would never otherwise meet can approach you, especially as a woman, and they don't even have to be real, right? They can have like 10 filters applied, fake images generated by AI, or just stealing images from a supermodel, and then, using rented cars and so on. Just your competition on dating apps is insane. And back in the day, it wasn't like this, right? You had your group of young people, for example, in a little rural town, and basically those were the people you interacted with. Those were the people you knew, and you rarely met anyone else. So your competition as a male for female attention was basically just those people, okay? You could only get together with people from your own town, and your competition were the other men in that town around your age. Now, your competition as a male looking for a relationship is everyone, global, right? Even a rich billionaire from India can compete with you if you live in some small town in, I don't know, wherever, Ohio, New York State, whatever, right? I'm not American, as you can tell. I'm Swiss, actually, so all the places in the US are kind of foreign to me, but I know a lot of my viewers are probably going to be Americans, so that's what I'm going to go with. So these are all the different factors that have all played together. And then also there are financial conditions that have just gotten worse and worse. People that were born maybe in the 60s or in the 50s, they could just, they could work as a carpenter or as a painter, whatever, just, painting houses, a carpenter working with wood, and they could just buy a house after maybe 10 years, right? These days, at the place where I live in Switzerland, house prices in the last 5 years, that's just 5 years, have increased by 33%. Do you think incomes have gone up 33%? No, they did not. Absolutely not. Carpenters are not making 33% more money than they did 5 years ago. So it's getting harder and harder. All the costs are increasing, your healthcare costs, costs for living alone. And it just makes it much harder for men, especially, who are expected to live on their own, have their own place, have their life in order, to get to a place in life where they feel confident about themselves and about their situation. It's embarrassing if you have to tell a girl that you live with your parents. But the reality of the matter is, especially here in Europe, in the US, I think it's a very similar situation, maybe not as bad, but people at 30, on average, they still live with their parents. That is when you should be already thinking about having kids. But most men are not even in a situation where they're confident enough to talk with a girl about where they live, because they live with their parents, and it's embarrassing. But the financial reality is they don't really have a choice. Like, I know people that are studying very useful degrees, they have their own business on the side, but they just can't afford to live on their own just yet. They make good money, but it's just so expensive, and it's getting more expensive all the time. And then if you want to date girls, right, they have expectations. They want the expensive dinner. They want you to drive her around. So every date is going to be $300, $400 out of your pocket. And if you want to do that weekly, that's going to be a pretty big cost. And it's just getting harder and harder and harder. And especially the global competition from the dating apps is making it extreme. And then also Instagram, right? That's the new social network that is all the vogue with the young ones. I do also have Instagram, but you know, that too can be used as a dating app and can connect women with attractive people, you know, the 1%, top 1%, you know, the 19-year-old that is a son of a billionaire, that has a trust fund, that has a Lamborghini Urus, and that can just fly her around all over the world, and that dates 7 different women every week. It's just, and then they date the 19-year-old billionaire's son, and they raise their standards, right? He looks like a supermodel. He makes $3 million a year. He has the Lamborghini Urus. He flies her around to Paris to have a romantic date, and that's their new standard, you know, because they have dated him once, and he never called them again. That's now their new standard, and average men just get left behind. So, what can you do about this situation as a man? You cannot change dating apps. You cannot change women's standards. You cannot change the financial just environment that we're living in. You can't, you know, make your salary go up just as quickly as house prices. It's not possible. But what you can do is you can try to play a different game than most people play. So most people play the game of the online dating apps because it's easy. All you do is swipe, 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 swipe left, swipe right, swipe up, swipe all over the place, get matched, and hopefully get a date, and hopefully, you know, find love. But the problem is, again, the competition on these apps is insane. It's global. You're competing with people that are just, you know, they're just much more blessed in their lives than you are. So what you can do is you can shift to playing a totally different game. And that game is talking to people in the real world. Because in the real world, you have a bunch of advantages. If you're one of the few people that can actually approach women in the real world, you have a huge leg up on 95% of other men that cannot easily do that, okay? If you're part of those 5 or 2.5%, you have a huge advantage in the real world. Also, in the real world, you'll find more normal women. Who knew? The women on dating apps are very different than the women in the real world. Normal women in the real world, they're not really interested in dating apps. They've maybe downloaded one once, they've had a bad experience, and they've left forever, or they've never even tried them. So it's a totally different pool of women that you're interacting with, and you're playing a game that is harder, yes, but if you are able to talk to people and you're able to approach women, you have such a huge advantage, right? As if you were the top 2%, the supermodel on Tinder or on any dating app, right? You have just this extreme advantage. If you can just talk to any woman, right? Anyone that you see. You like this one, you go talk to her. You know, see her on the street, go talk to her. See her at the gym, go talk to her. See her at the coffee shop, go talk to her. If you can do that, you have an extreme advantage, and you're tapping into a totally different pool of women. And you're also gonna make friends along the way. So the solution at this point is to be able to talk to people, which is why talktoanyone.com exists. It's a tool that allows you to learn talking to people. I'm just gonna walk you through it real quick. So on talktoanyone.com, here's the instructions. If you want to go there, just Google Talk to Anyone with numbers and you'll find it. So if you go to Talk to Women, we have all kinds of different tools. The place where I approached the most women was the gym because it's easy. You see people regularly. They know your face. You always have something to talk about. This is the place that I like the most. We have guides on doing it in general. On the train, that's going to be harder. At the club, for boys at school, then on the street. That's pretty much the most difficult thing, by the way, that you can do. So our score is like, 0 being talking to your mom, and 100 being trying to talk to a woman on the women's toilet while she's locked into the toilet. So there's not going to be 100% difficulty score, but 90 is pretty much for a man as close as you can get to it. So let's just go, for example, to our tool for talking to women at the gym. So learning to talk to women, again, it gives you a huge leg up. It's a huge advantage, but it takes work and it takes experience. It's not just knowing what to say, right? Our tool will help you with that aspect, knowing what to say. Hey, is this your first time here? I haven't seen you around, right? Knowing what to say is one part. But there are more parts, and those parts are not as easily memorized. They are experience, having done it a bunch of times. Also the anxiety, getting rid of anxiety. It's a matter of doing it a bunch of times, and then over time, the anxiety will go away. It's called exposure therapy. So this is one of those skills that you can't learn by simply reading about it or watching a video about it. You need to actually do it to get good at it, just like driving a car or swimming or whatever. Like you have to do it. Like you can read books on how to swim, right? And you can know the theory and the physics stuff that goes on with density of the water and density of your body and displacing water, but you're not going to be able to swim in practice unless you actually try it, right? So it always starts with making eye contact. So let me just make myself small, make the tool big right here. So talking to women, what you're going to want to do is just start small, maybe start with a woman that you're not especially interested in. I know it can be not very nice giving them false hope, but it's almost necessary because if you start at the supermodel that you really want to date, you're going to be extremely nervous and it's going to be much harder to learn. So smile at them, right? Smile at them. That's the first thing you do. It always starts with the eyes. You look at them, make eye contact, you smile at them. If they smile back, that's your time to say hi, right? Because it means she's not actively disinterested in talking. She smiles back. That's what women do. They signal. If she smiles back, she's probably interested in talking. It's now your turn to say hi and ask any kind of question. If she really likes you, it doesn't even really matter that much what you ask. Except it must not be awkward. It must not make her feel uncomfortable. That's the one thing that is extremely important. So she smiles back, say hi. If she's kind of embarrassed but smiling, also say hi. If she's neutral and just looks at you like, what are you doing? Leave her alone. If she actively avoids eye contact, do never talk to a woman that actively avoids looking at you. Don't ever force a conversation. Very important. Never approach women from behind, which is why I'm hammering the point about making eye contact first home, because I've seen men approach women from behind, she's just walking and he's like from behind, like, hey, you! And she's like, what's going on? Don't scare them. Don't startle them. It's pretty much the worst thing you can do. Always eye contact first. And then ask anything, right? Just don't make it weird, which is why I recommend using the tool at talktoanyone.com. Hey, it looks like you really know your way around the gym. Do you come here often? Yeah. Hey, what is that? Like this pink pre-workout you're drinking, it looks amazing. How much caffeine does it have, right? I love your protein shake or your weird bottle, right? Those weird fountain bottles. Where did you get it, right? There's a thousand different things that you can say, and it can be difficult coming up with something in the moment. It depends on how good you are at improvising. Over time, you'll learn, right? What I generally do is I scan them up and down. I scan the situation that I find myself in, and then I ask about something notable, right? A weird thing, a weird article of clothing that she's wearing, or maybe she has a dog, or maybe she's acting in an interesting way. Maybe, what girls often do is they just giggle, right? They're in a little group, they're giggling, and you know, then you can just comment like, hey, wow, you guys are having fun. What's so funny? What's so funny? I'm looking for some entertainment. What's up, right? Mind if I ask what you're training for? Or just, I also like the ones where you guess. Those are generally a bit more risky, especially in a diverse place like Europe. You could just guess something like, "Hey, or you look Italian. Are you Italian by any chance?" But make it a positive thing, right? Make it a positive thing. Never guess anything negative. Try to keep all your conversation starters positive and never negative, if at all possible. The most negative I will go is something like, "Wow, the gym is hot today. Aren't you dying? Yeah, how can you handle it without sweating?" Something like that. That's the most negative that I will go. But generally, try to stay positive. Everything's positive. You can talk about negative things when you're in a relationship and she vents to you and you vent to her. But before that, just, chill. Don't go into the negative space at all. You can also go for more conversation starters if the ones that you see here aren't enough. You look like you're having a good workout. What's your pre-workout song? Oh, yeah. What's your secret? How can you train this hard, right? Are you just extremely active person, or are you taking some kind of a special pre-workout, or how many coffees did you have before you came here? Just something. It doesn't really matter that much, just as long as it's not weird. And then try to avoid any awkward moments. Just keep talking. If she's not talking, you're talking. And that way there's not going to be any awkward moments. And if she rejects you, you just paint over it with some humor. "I'm sorry. Oh, I wasn't thinking," whatever, right? And you move on. Yeah. So that's basically it. Practice makes perfect is the key word here. You have to just practice and get better at it. And I am very confident that learning to talk to people in the real world is going to improve your life, not just when it comes to being lonely and the male loneliness epidemic. It's the only way that I see to do something about it. It's really the only thing that I can think of, because you have to get away from the online, you have to get away from the apps, you have to get also away from the corn. The corn is training your brain to it's just not good for you. There's thousands of videos on why corn is bad for you. Try to stop. Try to stop. Go back to nature. Go back to basic. It doesn't mean that you're not supposed to have any sexual desire or anything at all, but just please get away from this modern, just always a screen and always swiping and always just, it burns out your brain, your dopamine receptors. You just dopamine all the time, and you're not deriving pleasure from talking to people anymore and doing hard things, because on the apps everything is so easy, right? Everything's so easy. You push a button, it gives you rewards. Also, all the mobile games and the corn and the dating apps, everything is made to be as easy as possible and give you some kind of little dopamine hit. "Oh yes, I got a notification, I got matched with this person, I got a free reward. If I watch an ad, I'm gonna get double rewards." And it's designed to make you addicted. It's designed to make you lazy. It trains you that pushing a button is gonna give you a reward, and you're not looking for it trains you to not look for the hard things in life anymore. Talking to people in real life, it's hard. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of training, but it's a real achievement. It's not just pushing a button and then achieving nothing in the end. It's hard, but it's truly rewarding because you can truly reach something. Also, other things like training at the gym or learning a new skill. It's not easy. It's not just pushing a button and swiping. It's more than that. But your reward is going to be real. At the end of it, you're going to have a new skill. You're going to understand things. You're going to, if in the case of the gym, you're going to build muscle. Your endurance is going to be better. You're going to be able to breathe better. Please don't settle for those little reach nothing rewards, these dopamine hits that the internet has trained you to be addicted to. Please, I know they make a lot of money. It's a science. Getting people addicted to those little things. All the mobile games do it. All the apps do it. All the corn sites do it. please get yourself weaned off this drug that is the internet. Go into the real world. Talk to real people. You'll make friends. It's the most useful skill that you can have. And I am 100% convinced of that, which is why I created this website, talktoanyone.com, that helps you to develop your social skills, helps you, gives you guidance when you go out there and you talk to people and you get good at it, because it's the most useful skill, in my opinion, that you can have in this world, is talking to people, because it turns out the world is run by people. And if you're able to talk to them, if you're able to make friends, if you're charismatic, if you're able to connect with people on a deeper level, if you can show true empathy and be truly interested in them, truly love them, all the doors are open to you. If you meet the right person, you can go very high, very fast, okay? And I'm not guaranteeing it. I'm not guaranteeing it that you will make friends with Elon Musk and you'll be the second richest man tomorrow. That's probably not going to happen, but it's going to make your life easier. It's going to make your life better. I can guarantee that. If you learn to talk to people when previously you couldn't do it, and your life doesn't get better, then probably there aren't any people where you are. Maybe you live in the Arctic or, I don't know, on the moon. But here on Earth, it works. Anyways, guys, that's it about the male loneliness epidemic, why it is, and what you can do about it to improve your chances and your life. Head over to talktoanyone.com to learn to talk to people. Watch some more videos on this YouTube channel. If you have any experiences, let me know down in the comments. Let me know what your situation is, how your life is at the moment, how you're dealing with the loneliness and with all the factors that are just stacked against you. Give the video a like if you've enjoyed, if you've learned anything. Subscribe if you want more content like this, and I'll see you guys next time.